welcome back to another Sunday meal prep video. I am so glad that you joined me today. My name is Jennifer. I am 46 years old if you are new here, and I have been doing the WW plan since September 2019. And yeah, so my husband and I have been meal prepping like this for, I don't know, about a little over a year. We didn't start meal prepping this way until I'd been doing WW for a few months and finally decided to start a YouTube channel. So if you are new here, please go ahead and click that subscribe button down below and hit that notification bell so that you don't miss any time that I upload. I upload several times a week. My schedule has been Tuesday, Thursday, and on Sundays, but I'm thinking about changing it up a little bit and adding in a fourth video and having a Monday video. So we may do that this week or next week. We will see. But anyway, I am glad that you are here, and also follow me over on Instagram. I'll leave my Instagram handle for you here as well, and that way I can interact with you a little bit more, and I post daily over there, and of course I always post whenever my videos are coming out and stuff like that. So, oh, and one other thing, I also have a Facebook group, and I have that link down in the description box below. I kind of created that for people that don't have Instagram, so if you want to follow along in that Facebook group, click that link and I will add you to that group also. And thank you all for being here. And for the menu today, I almost forgot to go over my menu today. I'm going to be making a recipe that I've kind of made several times over the past few years. It is basically just chicken, bell peppers, and quinoa. I season the quinoa with just some chicken broth and stuff, maybe a little salt and pepper, and then I don't know how I'm going to season the chicken exactly. I'm going to spice it up a little bit. Charlie has diced it up into little pieces, and I have like some Montreal, you know, chicken seasoning that's kind of got a little kick to it, and I might add in a little bit of cayenne pepper. I don't know. We'll see. Just whatever I feel like throwing on it at the moment. And then the peppers I'll just kind of cook in the skillet, and then we will kind of mix that up, and it'll just kind of be like a one bowl thing with the quinoa, the chicken, and the peppers. It's actually really good. It should be about 6 points depending on how much quinoa I do, but I think I'll just do a cup because the chicken will be 0 and the bell peppers will be 0 as well. And then for the other recipe, my new recipe that I'm trying this week, and I have never done it before, is the lasagna soup. And I know several people have made that, and I don't really eat a lot of pasta anymore. That's one thing that I feel like doesn't really sit well with my body, so I kind of cut the pasta out. But I did try some red lentil pasta 3 or 4 weeks ago in a recipe, and I really liked it, and I felt like it did better with my body. So that is what I'm going to use in my lasagna soup in place of the actual lasagna noodles. So of course I am changing the recipe. I found a recipe online. Actually, I have it printed out here. Where is this from? RecipeDiaries.com. So it's a Weight Watchers lasagna soup. It calls for lean ground turkey sausage. I'm not going to use that. I'm going to use my 99% lean ground turkey. I'm just going to season it up with Italian seasoning, oregano, basil, whatever I can think of to put in there to kind of give it, you know, that Italian flavor and also still be 0 points. This calls for minced garlic, crushed tomatoes, 5 cups of chicken broth, lasagna noodles, and 2 cups of fat-free shredded mozzarella, and then optional toppings is Parmesan or basil or whatever if you want to use that. So this is the recipe that I'm going to follow. I'm probably just going to cook it in a big pot on the stove. I could put it in the slow cooker, but I just think I'm just going to put it, I've got a really big pot I can put on the stove, just kind of get that going, and then after that's just kind of simmering, then I will start on the chicken, which I will just cook in the skillet like I do all of my chicken. You know, I like to get that nice good little sear on it, get it nice and well done. And I'll have the peppers also going over in another pan as well. And then the quinoa I'm actually just going to cook in my rice cooker, because then I don't have to worry about it, and it cooks it perfectly and then just keeps it warm until I get ready to plate that up. So those are the 2 recipes. Oh, and I am going to make my chocolate peanut butter protein cookies this week. I did not make them last week because it was Easter Sunday, and I made the sugar-free muffins, which Charlie and I actually just finished those off last night, Saturday night. So they did last all week. There was 3 of them left last night, so we split it. We each had 1.5 to go ahead and eat them up and be done with them. And I missed my cookies. I always do if I go a week without my cookies. I'm telling y'all, they are so good. They are so low in points, and they are so filling. So anyway, it is definitely worth trying those cookies. It is 2 points for 3 of the cookies, and that's pretty much what I will have at least 4 nights during the week. I only make 1 batch. I've got asked a couple of times, do you double the batch, make more? No, I don't do that. What I will do is some nights I won't eat dessert. It just kind of depends on how late we eat dinner and whether or not it is a heavy dinner, if I can, you know, if I want the cookies or not. So I really only have enough for 4 nights if I eat 3 cookies per night. So usually it's no problem. Saturday nights I will eat like an enlightened ice cream bar or something, or one night during the week I might just feel like that ice cream instead of the cookies. So 1 batch lasts me the whole week. If something happens and I need to make a second batch, then I will, but that typically doesn't happen. So that is the plan for the day, and yeah, let's just get right into the video. Okay guys, I am ready to get in the shower, and Charlie is going to start his prep. We have a ton of bell peppers over here. 3 of them, probably these 3 smaller ones, will be for my breakfast peppers that we always prep, you know, that we use on my pizzas and eggs and stuff like that. And then the rest is going to be for the chicken and quinoa and peppers meal, obviously. So he will slice those up into just like normal little strips, almost like you would for fajitas. It doesn't really matter, however you want to slice them up. And then, of course, my cantaloupe and the pineapple that he preps every week for me. And then slice my tomato for my sandwiches. This is the chicken for the chicken meal. He's just going to dice it up, kind of like we do the same little bite-sized pieces for the kung pao chicken. I'm not making kung pao chicken this week. I'm just going to pick out whatever seasonings I think and throw on there and see what we come up with. And then of course we have the blueberries, which I usually will just wash those once I get done. And yeah, so not that much for him to prep, but it probably will take a little while because that is a lot of peppers to chop up today. And so let's roll right into Charlie's prep.
You and me stuck on the ocean now, nothing but waves and they're spilling in. I wanna dry up, but you just keep on going, don't you? I don't even know how we got here. All my reasoning have disappeared. I wanna bury the hatchet and find the way back to our home, our home, our home. We don't have to drift inside this dome. I will not let us fade away. It's not a price I wanna pay, and it's not too late. No, we lost our purpose, chasing all that surplus. You were all that I need. I feel that we can break free. We can still go back there to a place with no cares. We can turn this ship around. We can turn this ship around all the way back home. Chasing all that we do not dare. Chasing all that we.
Okay guys, I am ready to put together my fruit bowls. I have my pineapple and my cantaloupe here that Charlie prepped for me, and my blueberries that I washed in the vinegar. And I plucked all the little ends out of the ones too that still had those little things in there. I hate those. I wish they would take those out in the store. But anyway, let's jump into it. Let's throw together some fruit bowls. Here are the completed fruit and yogurt bowls, along with the tomato that Charlie sliced for me and the diced peppers. So we've got this done. Now we are going to get started on the lasagna soup. Okay, I am ready to get started on the lasagna soup, which this is the recipe that I'm using, this Weight Watchers lasagna soup. And again, of course, I am making some substitutions. The way this one, and I will link it in the description box below, but this one says that it comes out to 7 points on each plan, if you can see that. I have put it into my Weight Watchers app and calculated it with all of my substitutions, and it comes up to 4 points. For the lasagna soup the way that I am doing it, if you can see that. So the substitutions that I made is, number one, I'm using the 0 point ground turkey breast instead of the ground turkey sausage that it calls for. And then I don't know if this makes a difference in the points or not, because this whole box of red lentil rotini was like 19 points whenever I put it in. Of course, I am dividing this into 6 servings. So those are the only things. This is really the only thing I think that counts points out of all of this stuff. Everything was 0. Let me look back at the recipe real quick. Oh, I am forgetting one thing, the cheese. That was the other thing that counts points. It calls for 2 cups of fat-free cheese. So I am going to use this Kraft fat-free mozzarella. If y'all know me, you know that I don't really like this one. I prefer the Walmart cheese on my pizzas, but I did pick up a couple of bags of that the other day because they were out of it. So that is 4 points. The whole box of the red lentil pasta is 19 points. And then I think that's it. The chicken broth, once I put it up to 5 cups, because it calls for 5 cups, it added a point for that, but I don't really care. I don't know if that makes that much of a difference or not. So here is my full recipe. Oops. Here is my full recipe, if it will focus. So 4 points, and that's all of the ingredients and 6 servings. So however much it makes, I'm just going to divide it as equally as I can into 6 servings. So I think that's pretty good for 4 points. And then we will also have the 2 ingredient garlic rolls, and I will make those into 18 little rolls to where I can have 3 of them, and they are 1 point each roll whenever I make them that way. So this will end up to be a 7 point dinner. So I think that's pretty good. So I'm going to get everything started, and once we get this soup put together, while it's just kind of simmering, then we will start on the chicken and peppers and quinoa. And just to go over the seasonings real quick, I'm just going to add in some garlic powder, some onion powder, some oregano, some basil. I'm going to add a little bit of thyme and some Italian seasoning and a little bit of onion powder, and of course salt and pepper. And then I have some minced garlic there, crushed tomatoes. So yeah, I'll go over it again as we put the recipe together. Okay guys, hopefully y'all can see there pretty good. So I'm just going to spray the bottom of the pan with the extra virgin olive oil spray. And we're going to go in with the ground turkey breast. And to that, I'm going to go ahead and season it up, because there won't be any fat or anything that you have to drain off of this. I'm going to do my pepper. And you can just season however much you want to. Y'all know I like to add a lot of seasonings. And then I'm going to go in with my salt and a little onion powder. I think I'm going to give it a quick stir and get it broken up a little bit. And some garlic powder, some oregano, quite a bit. Since this doesn't have any flavor in it, we want to give it that Italian flavor. And some Italian seasoning. And some basil. And just a little bit of the thyme. After I add all the liquids, I will probably have to add some more of like the Italian seasonings and stuff. We'll taste it and see. Okay, so we're just going to let that cook, and I'm going to go ahead and kind of get everything else opened up and measured out. Which this is 4 cups, I think. Yeah, so this is 4 cups. The recipe calls for 5 cups. So I'm going to open this can of chicken broth and measure out 1 cup. And then I'm just going to reserve the rest to put into my quinoa. Okay, so the turkey is brown. I'm going to go in with the garlic. And you never want to burn your garlic, so you only want to let it kind of brown for about a minute or so. So I'm just going to do like 3 teaspoons of garlic. And we're just going to brown this for about a minute and then add in the tomatoes. So now I'm going to go ahead and add in the full can of crushed tomatoes. And then it says to pour in the chicken broth and bring it to a simmer. So I'm going to turn the heat back up on it and we will put in the chicken broth. And it calls for 5 cups, so we're going to do this whole container plus 1 cup. Basically it says to bring it to a boil and then we're going to add in our noodles. And I may go ahead and add in a little more Italian seasoning and oregano and stuff. Okay, we'll be back once that boils and we'll add in the noodles. If this recipe turns out good, y'all, it seems really easy. I mean, this is pretty much it. We're going to add in the noodles once it boils and cook it for about 10 minutes until the noodles are al dente. And then you add in the cheese and, yeah, you add in the cheese and basically just stir it in until it melts good and it's done. It almost seems too easy. So this may be a winner if it tastes good. And on the cheese, I didn't realize this is only 1 3/4 cups because it's 7 1/4 cup servings in here. So I do have just a little bit of my Walmart cheese that I'm going to add in. I think that's close enough to make it 2 cups of cheese. Charlie's actually gone to Walmart to see if he can find me some more cheese and to pick up a couple of other things as well. I think we're boiling. So we're going to put in our noodles. So I'm going to set a timer for 10 minutes and then we will come back to it. I'm just going to stir it occasionally. Okay, so the soup has been cooking now for 10 minutes and I tasted one of the noodles and I think that it's about perfect. And the last time that we used this red lentil rotini, it actually held up really well during the week. So I think that this is going to be really good. I'm going to go ahead and add in the cheese. That's the last step. And this calls for 2 cups, so I'm just going to add this whole package plus that little bit of that other pack. And basically you just stir it up until the cheese is melted and then it is done. And I think that's so easy. Like I said, if this turns out good, then this is definitely a winner. I need to make my notes on my recipe that I printed out on what I changed. Okay, so we're just pretty much going to say that's done. I'm just going to let the cheese kind of melt. I'm just going to set it to the side and portion it out later after it kind of cools down a little bit. Okay, guys, so I have a little buddy with me here. He's wanting to climb up here on the counter, so I thought I would hold him for a minute. Maybe he wants some attention. But I think he's just being nosy, to be honest. So I'm getting ready to start on the quinoa that I was going to make. And so I'm going to use this Ancient Harvest. It's already washed and rinsed. And I'm going to do 6 servings, which should make 6 cups, which a serving is 1/4 cup dry. And this, I think, is 5 points per serving. So 1 serving is also 45 grams. Y'all know I like to measure everything in grams. So we're going to measure out 6 45-gram servings, which is 270 grams. So I'm going to get my scale, which is basically 1.5 cups. But sometimes with stuff like this, to get a more accurate measurement, it's better to weigh it. So we are going to weigh it. Let me go put Nico down. Okay, so I'm just going to weigh out 270 grams. All right, let me get you turned down here where you can see. And so I have it tiered out to 0, so we're just going to go for 270 grams. There we go, 274. That's close enough. And then you have to do 2 parts water. If it says on here also, if you're using the rice cooker, just to treat it just like you would rice and do 2 parts water to 1 part quinoa. So I'm basically using 1.5 cups of quinoa. And so that means I need 3 cups of liquid. But I am going to use chicken broth. I've got a little bit left in this can. I'm going to open up another can of chicken broth, and then if I need any water, then I will use that also. And I'm just going to spray the inside of the rice cooker with the extra virgin olive oil spray, just so maybe it won't stick. And y'all, these little rice cookers are very handy because you literally just push a button and then you don't have to worry about it. I'm sure it's the same way in the Instant Pot, but I've had this little rice cooker for quite a while and it works great. So we're going to go in with our quinoa, and then we're going to do 3 cups of liquid. Charlie's coming home. You might hear the dog start barking. He went to Walmart. And the reason I like to do the chicken broth instead of just water basically is to give the quinoa flavor. Okay, this is only a 2-cup measuring cup. There's 2 cups of liquid. So I need 1 more cup. We'll see how much this ends up to be. Oh look, right at 1 cup almost. I just added a little splash of water to make it a cup. And I think I am going to sprinkle a little bit of pepper in there just to give it a little flavor. Not too much. Give it a quick little stir. And then we're just going to turn it on and let it do its thing. There we go. Easy peasy. And then I don't have to worry about it. It will just keep it warm while I'm working on the chicken and the peppers. Okay, so I'm getting ready to start on the chicken. Charlie has already diced this up and trimmed it for me. And then these are the seasonings I'm going to use. Of course, salt and pepper. And then I have this Weber's Kickin' Chicken spicy seasoning I'm going to use. And then I am going to do some ground cumin and some chili powder and some garlic powder and maybe a little paprika on there. And then I have my peppers here, which I will just season those probably with salt and pepper. So pretty simple. And I've already got the quinoa going, so we're going to get this going so that it can all finish about the same time. Okay, so we are going to go ahead and get the peppers going because it will take a little while for those to soften up. So we're going to just spray our skillet and pop these in. And then just add some pepper and some salt. And I'll let that kind of get hot and then I'll turn it down because this eye actually gets really hot on this stove. So I'm just going to put the lid on there. I'll go ahead and turn it down a little bit. Now let's get the chicken going. So again, I'm just going to spray my skillet. So I'm going to kind of season the chicken on this side, put it in the plate, and then season the other side, which is what I typically do. And then I'll add a little bit more seasoning if I feel like if it needs it. So that was salt and pepper. We're just going to do a little chili powder, a little of the ground cumin, some of the Kickin' Chicken seasoning, some garlic powder, and just a little paprika. And then I'm going to do the same seasonings again. Just some pepper, some salt, some of the Kickin' Chicken seasoning, a little bit of chili powder, a little bit of ground cumin, a little paprika, and a little bit of garlic powder. Okay, so chicken is cooking along. Let's check on our peppers. They're looking good. We're just going to let these finish cooking and it should be ready in a few minutes. Actually, both of these meals today have turned out easy. Okay, so I think everything is about done. I'm just going to get like a nice little sear on the chicken so that it's kind of a little bit crispy on the outside, and then we will be ready to plate it up. Okay, so I actually have both meals completed. We are going to go ahead and plate up the lasagna soup. It's just kind of been sitting over here waiting on me to cook the chicken and stuff. And I'm just going to eyeball it and divide it into 6 equal servings, and this comes out to 4 points per serving. And then I have the chicken and the peppers ready. The quinoa is actually still cooking, so as soon as it is done, then we will be ready to plate that up as well. So let's plate up this lasagna soup. This tastes pretty good. Of course, we will give a full review on it next week after we've had it for a week. So I'm just going to use these containers, which these are stained from our taco soup. But then that way we can just heat up our garlic rolls and put those in that end there. Okay, hopefully you can see better over there. So I think about a cup is going to be a serving. So we will see what we end up with.
You know it's way too late, regretting our mistakes. You got so head over heels crazy. Need to apologize, we went too far this time.
Okay guys, here is the completed lasagna soup. I think that it looks great. It tastes good. I have tasted a noodle and a little bit of the ground turkey. I think the flavor is pretty good on it, so we will see. But yeah, this was a super easy recipe. So this is definitely going to be in the rotation if it turns out that we are satisfied with it this week whenever we eat it. So anyway, got this done. Now we're going to plate up the chicken, quinoa, and peppers, and then we will make the garlic rolls and the chocolate cookies. Okay, we are plating up the chicken, quinoa, and peppers. I've already measured out the quinoa. It came out perfectly to 1 cup per container. So since the rice cooker was over there, I just went ahead and measured that out. And now all we have to do is divide the chicken and the peppers, which I am just going to eyeball those and portion them out as best as I can because they're both 0 points. And the chicken I got nice and crispy, let me tell you. So on this, I'm just going to kind of put the chicken like on one side and then put the peppers on the other.
Remember when you told me you believe in something and you said you're done pretending that fate is patient. Go run away, get it out of your system. Come back when you're older. Go find a place where you can't be the victim. And come back when you're older. Go catch the storm within your broken bones. And be wild, 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 wild.
Okay, here are the completed chicken, quinoa, and bell peppers. And this meal comes out to 5 points. I scanned the quinoa, and that quinoa scans at 5 points per serving. Of course, you would definitely need to scan whichever quinoa that you used. And yeah, everything else is 0 points. So this is a pretty good meal, I think, for 5 points. So very pleased with this. This is something that we've had several times for several years. I used to make this all the time, and I just kind of forget about this meal now. So Charlie reminded me of it the other day, and I was like, yeah, you know, let's cook that. I don't know if I've shared it on my channel or not. So anyway, it's looking very good. If y'all like peppers and you like chicken, and even if you don't like quinoa, if you put the chicken broth in there, it gives it that flavor. Because quinoa by itself, to me, it's kind of plain and boring. But put some chicken broth in it, it changes it. Or you can use like a chicken bouillon cube. Okay guys, we are moving right along today. I have both of the meals prepped and plated up. All we have left to do are the garlic rolls and the cookies. I'm going to take a quick little break to do some cleanup, swap out my laundry. Sunday is also my laundry day, so I just kind of do, it's just basically the clothes that I wear during the week. I don't do towels or anything like that. So it's just like a quick little load. So I'm going to go swap that out, and then we will do the cookies and the garlic rolls. And then I still have to make my bacon and eggs, but you know, I kind of do that off camera and then just show you at the end. So I am nearing the finish line on this meal prep. All we have to do is make the garlic rolls and the chocolate cookies. And I'm going to throw these garlic rolls together real quick, get those in the oven. While those are baking, we're going to put together the chocolate cookies. So let's tilt you down here and do these garlic rolls. They are so good. They are so worth trying. It's my husband's favorite thing. So, and not to say it's not my favorite thing, but you know, for some of y'all whose husbands might not be wanting to try some of these foods, just serve it to them. They'll love it. Mine does. So for this, you're going to need, for my recipe, I use 1.5 cups of self-rising flour, which I have a little bag, a little bit left of this all-purpose. I'm going to go ahead and use this up because the last time I only had all-purpose and I used it, and I really just want to get rid of this. So I am going to use this, but I'm going to use 1.5 cups total flour, and then I'm going to do 1 cup of the Chobani non-fat Greek yogurt, which I've already measured that out. So I don't do a 1-to-1 ratio. I find it's way too sticky if I do that. So that's the yogurt that I used, and then we're going to do some garlic powder. So I'm going to go ahead and put in my 1.5 cups of flour, which actually this may be 1.5 cups. I really wanted to use my self-rising. Maybe we'll just kind of do half and half. We'll save that. Alright, so there's 1.5. So maybe the next time I can use the rest of that all-purpose up. And just a little pro tip, I keep all of my flour in the freezer, so I never have to worry about, you know, anything getting in it or it going bad or anything. So I just keep everything in the freezer. I just put it in like one of these Ziploc bags, and it keeps perfectly fine forever. And then to this, I'm going to add 2 tablespoons of the garlic powder, and then we're going to stir it up really well. Then we'll add in the yogurt. And I'm going to do 2 heaping tablespoons because the last time I felt like these weren't as garlicky as what they usually are. Okay, so you just want to mix up the garlic in there so that it's kind of evenly dispersed into the flour, and then we're going to go in with the yogurt. And y'all have to be willing to get your hands a little dirty to make these. I'll take my rings off here in a minute once I get to that point. So basically, I'm just going to stir this up until it's kind of crumbly, and then I'll go in with my hands and knead it into a nice dough ball. Okay, I'm going to take my rings off because I don't want to get dough all on them. Okay, I'm going to wash my hands, and then I'm going to show you how to work this. It is really sticky. As you can see, there's a lot stuck on my hands, and how I measure these out and keep them from sticking as much. So my little trick is butter spray. First of all, we're going to go ahead and spray the pan with the butter spray, and then we're actually going to spray our hands as well, which this one's empty, but I have another one. So the first thing I'm going to do is see how much I need to divide this into grams wise for 18 rolls. So it's 461 grams. So 461 divided by 18 is 25 grams per roll. So that's what we're going to do. And we're going to use the butter spray so that it doesn't stick to our hands. So you're literally going to spray your hands with the butter spray, and then we're going to tear it out and just pull it off until it is negative 25. Which that's negative 26, close enough. Some of them will be 25, some of them will be 26, some of them might be 24. But it's fine. You just want to tear it out each time. And then you will have to respray your hands. Okay, let me wash my hands and then I'll show you the last step. Okay, so the last step is we're going to spray them really well with the butter spray. And then we're going to do a good little coating of garlic salt on them, which this container is almost empty. But I have another one, of course. Which actually I'm going to pour this other one into this container because this one does not have like a good little top on it to sprinkle with. Okay, now I'm going to put them in the oven. I have it preheated to 400 degrees for 12 minutes, and then I'll probably pop them up on the top rack and put it on broil for a couple of minutes so that the top's brown. We are down to the wire now. We are going to make the chocolate peanut butter protein cookies and throw those in the oven, and then all I have to do is make my scrambled eggs, and I will be done for the day. Super excited about that. So let's make some cookies. I've got everything out here. Let me tilt you down a little. Okay, we're going in with 1 scoop of the Matrix peanut butter cookie protein powder. And I have this and the other protein powder linked in my Amazon store, which is down in the description box if you're interested in trying this. Some people have used PB2 in place of this, FYI, so if you don't want to purchase this one. And then I'm going to do 1 scoop of the PE Science Select in the frosted chocolate cupcake, I think is what it says. Both of these protein powders are really sweet and they bake well, so that's why I like them. So we're going to go in with 10 grams of the Hershey's Special Dark Cocoa. And then we're going to do 5 grams of the sugar-free Jell-O chocolate fudge pudding mix. Then I'm going to go in with a pretty big tablespoon of the baking powder. And then we're just going to mix all of the dry ingredients until it's all blended well. Okay, I think that's mixed pretty well. Now we're going to go in with the wet ingredients. So we are going to do half of the can of 100% pure pumpkin. There's 425 grams in here, so we're going to do about 212 grams or so. There we go, perfect, 213. We will just save this and then I will use this next week when I make my batch. Then I'm going to go in with some egg whites. I usually start with about 100 grams or so and then add more if necessary, which I usually think it is necessary. So that was 105 grams and that used all that little container up. So let's see what our consistency is before I open this other one. Okay, so I don't know if you can see that consistency or not. It's okay, but to me it's too thick. It needs a little bit more egg whites. I feel like the cookies would turn out hard if I cooked them with that consistency. So I'm going to add just a little bit more. And that was probably about another 25 grams. Okay, now I feel like this consistency is a lot better. It's not runny, but it's not so stiff that it didn't come off the spoon. So we're going to go with that. Now we just need to add in 14 grams of the Lily's dark chocolate, no sugar added baking chips. That's what they look like unfolded. And then you just want to mix these in real quick and then we will be ready to scoop them out onto the cookie pan. Okay, we are ready to scoop them out. I'm going to use this Pam baking spray. And we're just going to try to scoop them out as evenly as possible into 12 cookies. They're going to go in the oven 350 degrees for 9 minutes. Here are the cookies fresh out of the oven. They will flatten out. I don't know if you can still see the steam coming off of them or not, but I literally just pulled them out and they are a little bit soft to the touch. They are not runny. They are not hard either. So that's what you want to look for. That's one, and these will kind of flatten up, and I put them in the refrigerator and store them just in a Rubbermaid container, and then I heat them up in the microwave for 30 seconds whenever I eat them. And then I also pulled out the garlic rolls earlier, and I didn't get those for you as soon as I pulled them out, but these look perfect. I cannot wait to eat these. These are the best little things, y'all. Definitely worth trying. So I have completed another Sunday meal prep video. Over here we have my 7 bowls of fruit with my 7 yogurt containers that's ready for my lunches. Here we have the spiced up chicken that I just fried up in a pan with some quinoa and bell peppers, which turns out to be, I think, 5 points per serving because that's how much the quinoa is. Everything else is 0. And this is the lasagna soup that I made. This turned out to be 4 points per serving because of the modifications that I made to the recipe by using the ground turkey and the red lentil pasta instead of the lasagna noodles. And then along with that, we will have the garlic rolls. These are 1 point per roll. I made 18 of them, so each night we will each get 3. So this will end up to be a 7-point meal with those combined. Here's my cookies, my little specialty. I have 12 of those ready to go, and this is the way I store them in the refrigerator. Obviously, I will put a lid on that. I have my 10 strips of bacon. I just store this in a Ziploc bag that I just reuse every week and take 2 strips out every day. And then I have my 5 containers of the scrambled eggs that I make, which is 2 eggs, 150 grams of egg whites, the diced bell peppers, salt and pepper, of course, and a little splash of almond milk. So, overall, another successful meal prep. Okay guys, thank you so much for joining me for another Sunday meal prep video. I really appreciate each and every one of you. Please comment down below if you try any of these recipes or not. And if you haven't already, please hit that subscribe button and that notification bell so that you don't miss any time that I upload. I upload Tuesdays, Thursdays, and on Sundays. And also follow me over on Instagram. I will leave my Instagram handle for you here as well. And I also have a Facebook group if you would like to join that Facebook group. It is down in the description box below, which for those of you that don't know, there is a description box below everyone's video. There's a little arrow. You can do the drop down. I list all of the recipes with the points, the ingredients, and how to make everything in that description box, or links to the recipes that I use in the video as well. And so yeah, there's lots of information in there. The link to my Amazon store, my Fetch Rewards. You see Nico, he's jumping up here. My Fetch Rewards app link, my Weight Watchers link if you wanted to use that to save a month on Weight Watchers, although they usually always have better deals, I think, going on online. And yeah, so check out the description box. There's all kinds of useful information in there for you. And we will see you in the next video. I love you guys. Say bye, Nico. Thanks, guys.